Assalamu alaikum. Welcome. Sulaiman Rahim here. Let's slay some demons. Sisters and brothers, we're on the precipice of a new world. A new world's coming in. Both realities cannot exist. A new reality, a totally new reality, greater than ever before, is coming in. That means it has to displace this reality, destroy it, just blow it out of existence. But this reality is resisting. It doesn't want to step aside, be blown away, and it's resisting with all its might. But it's going to fail. It is failing. But our people are in a crossfire. And so we have to work hard and diligently to protect them as much as we can and awake them as much as we can. As it said, my people were lost for lack of knowledge. As Elijah Muhammad said in Theology of Time, when a brother approached him, asked him a question doing quick Q&A, something Mr. Farrakhan will never do, Q&A. Because he'll be shut down immediately, because he can't withstand question. He can't withstand questioning. But the brother was jubilant about, man, I can't wait till the war of Armageddon, that time come. Elijah Muhammad had to set him down. He said, no, brother, no. Do not pray for that day. Listen, let's follow up. Because you do not know what you're up against. See, they don't want to unpack this stuff. They don't want to say anything. He said, you do not know what you're up against. Now, this was in 1974 he said this. Mr. Black Man was already published. Mr. Black Man had been published for years, right? How to Live, Fall of America, Our Savior Has Arrived. All those books were already published when he said that. And so this was just prior to his exit. And at this point in time, he says, you do not know. That means it wasn't revealed to you. Because if it was in those books, you would know. So he said, you do not know what you're up against. So what does that mean? That means you can't find out in those books what you're up against. You can read Mr. Blackman all you want, How to Live, Savior Has Arrived, Fall of America, you read books all you want. You go back and read Muhammad Speak newspapers all you want. And you will not find in there what you're up against. Because he just told him, you do not know what you're up against. Now, if you want to go and do follow-up research, go and research it. I would do it, but I'm not going to do it anymore because it's waste time for some of you, because no matter how the truth is explained to you clearly, you don't want to hear it. For instance, 1619, 2019. How can you go wrong with that one? Abrahamic covenant, which Farrakhan is not teaching. Abrahamic covenant, how can you go wrong? 1619, 2019, 400 years, 2020 be a plague that will kill the firstborn and will pass over you. And that's what it's doing. It said, never had a plague like this before that's killed the elderly. Firstborn is elderly. Never seen a plague like this. And it's passed over you. South, the continent of Black Africa, has not been affected by it. Only continent on the planet that's not been affected by this plague. That should be big news, but they're not telling you about it. But we're dropping like flies over here. How simple can it be? I'm going to send you Elijah just before that, by name. Elijah was born, Elijah Muhammad was named, born Elijah. So he gave you his name. And it tells you can have a spokesman. He said Elijah will teach about 40 years. You have a spokesman, right? That's going to go about 40 years, but he's going to deceive the people and corrupt the people. And leads all those followers him into destruction. And then will come Joshua. How can you go wrong with this? You only go wrong if you're an idiot or you're a demon. They make it so clear to you. And I make it more clear. Then and they tell you, they say it like, with, I mean, in a convincing way, right? There's nobody coming after Elijah with conviction. There's nobody coming after Elijah. And right there in Malachi, the whole book that they used to justify the fact that Elijah did come, it says it right there. The messenger of the covenant, they call him a messenger of the covenant, a messenger. They don't say the prophet. In fact, they actually refer to him as the messenger because they refer to Elijah as a prophet. It says the messenger of the covenant will suddenly come to his temple, suddenly come to his temple, not mosque, not church, not synagogue, suddenly come his temple. The messenger of the covenant. See? So who will abide the day of his coming? See? Like full of soul. He come to clean up something. So whose mess he come to clean up? Elijah's mess? Or somebody that had came behind Elijah? But he will be teaching about the covenant. That's why I call him the messenger of the covenant. He's just telling, that's all he'll be teaching about. You don't fear for our God tell you about the covenant. He's telling you ain't going nowhere. So he's calling God a liar because you already paid the price. You already did your part of the covenant, Abrahamic covenant. You already did your part. You already done your part. See? Yet he tells you not to get the reward. Because the rest reward, the promised land. That's your reward. He's telling you you're not going to get it. Because if you're not going anywhere, it means you're not going to get it. See? But now they're telling you, well, America's about to be destroyed. Well, it's going to be destroyed, and why would you want to stay here? They're confused over there because they've been lying. And that's what happens. When you're lying, and then the lies become more exposed, then you have to lie even more. For instance, here it is midnight, and you tell everybody the sun's not going to come up. So you might get some fools that might believe that. Oh, son, he said sun ain't coming up. But see, you only got what, 6-7 hours to tell that lie? All of a sudden, here comes the dawn. She starts peeking the sunlight, sun rays. Oh, well, that ain't the sun. See, that's just stars. It ain't the sun. So you got to keep lying, and lies get bigger and bigger and bigger until the sun just blows them away. The truth just blows away because there's the sun right there. Unless you're blind, they snatch your eyes out. And if you still believe it after that, then you just totally lost. So that's why their confusion is coming greater and greater and greater. The lies coming greater and greater and greater because the truth is becoming more and more evident. America is going to war. America's going to war. Russia already threatened America with nuclear war if they go into the Black Sea. So you stay out of the Black Sea right now. If told Biden, if you send your troops, you send your boats, your ships over to the Black Sea, we're going to war. China said the same thing. If you don't get your troops out of the China Sea and leave Taiwan alone, right, we're going to war. Talking about nuclear war. Talking about sanctions, nuclear war. And then Iran. Three I've been telling you about. Iran says, we're not going to that JCPOA unless you drop all the sanctions. They said, we're not going to drop, so we're not going to do it. In fact, we're going to go a step further. We're going to enrich uranium from 20% up to 60%. See? They said, well, we're not going to allow you to get a nuclear weapon. Well, if you get 6%, you're almost there. If you ask me, they're further along than that, right? But anyway, so that means you got a time frame because they only got a certain period per time before they would have enough to do it. So they told them, not going to allow you to do it. So it means you got a time frame there. It's running out quickly. That clock is ticking fast. There's hourglass almost run out of sand. And then false Israel's telling them, we don't care what y'all do. We're going to attack anyway. And they've been fighting back and forth over attacking each other's ships and everything. So what do you think? If you see darkness, start getting dark, and the clouds rolling in, it starts getting dark, right? And you hear thundering in the distance and lightning bolts, man, what the hell you think is going to happen next? That's what Jesus said. You see all the signs. So brothers and sisters, we got a lot of work to do because it's so simple. But they say, well, how come you can't see it? Because they did a masterful job on us for 400 years. But your covenant with death will fail, as it says in the scripture. But see, it tells you in Mark that we're plagued by demons. So slave master has produced his seed in our women. Now we got demons all around us, and we don't even realize they're demons. Because they look like us, some of us sleeping with them. Some of us have mothers as demons, cousins, friends, relatives. And they have the same disposition as the slave master dad. Just like when we was in the fields. We still in the plantation now, but we was in the fields. We knew not to trust them because they was in the master's house. Like the preacher couldn't trust him because he was told, right, to make you a better slave. He's supposed to, he was supposed to be your coach, your what they call it, inspirational guide, your motivator. See, because he was in the master's house too. And the point is, the better off master got, the better off was for them. Because master, if you got a dog and you poor, your dog eats scraps. But if you get a little money in your pocket, the dog might eat dog food. Then you get a little more money, he might start eating hamburger. Eventually, he might even be eating steak. But that depends on your condition, because he's definitely eating steak when you eating hamburger. And that same psychology went on in the fields. So the house Negroes and the preacher knew that the harder you work, the better master was off, and that's the better they were off. Because his master got richer, more powerful. His children, his black-faced children, got richer and more powerful. And the preacher got more rich and more powerful. Because his whole idea was to keep you motivated. See? So it was, no matter how bad the master was, you're supposed to be better. You're supposed to treat him better. You're supposed to love him. Love them as spitefully use you. Love those. So in other words, you was encouraging them to beat you. Because you were telling them the more he beat you, the more you're supposed to love him. But you're supposed to get your reward when? After you die. See, they get theirs now, but you get it after you die. And you believe all that. But you read the scripture, Romans, it says, by doing that, you was heaping hot coals upon their head. You weren't doing it out of love. You was doing it out of the whip to destroy them. But you didn't have weapons, so you was using your knowledge of, you didn't have the knowledge, but your faith, right, in God. But that's, if you understand mathematics and the laws of pressure, that's exactly what happened. Because if somebody's doing evil to you, right, the law of consequence, right? See, so you just back off, let them keep on doing it. Because the law of consequence is going to take care of their ass. Because we knew back on the fields that they was going to catch it. Even their prince, Mr. Jefferson, said he trembled when he realized, when we considered that God's a just God. That means he knew they were going to get their ass tore up for what they was doing and how they was doing it. They're evil people. They're shit from A to Z, and you can't clean up shit. You can't do it. So they put perfume on Jefferson. And what? They're trying to put perfume on America now. Oh, well, they're trying to clean them up. You can't clean up shit. Jefferson, Washington, all of them. There's pedophiles. They were rapists. They were thieves and liars. They were living off oppressed people's wealth, putting children and women out in the fields. You understand? So they could have some iced tea. So have a cup of tea. See, and we had us working our ass out in the field with no medical aid or anything. See, just out there in the hot sun. Females, and then the females, that wasn't enough for them, right? Because as soon as they work their ass all day long, then they come in and master work on their ass all night long. That's these sick people. Now they trying to cover this shit up. Oh man, look at the language he using. Because hey, if you call shit, that's profanity when you call something out of his name. That's what profanity is. They give all these definitions. When you call something that's profanity when you call something out of his name or something that's not right. But if you call shit shit, that's not profanity. That's what it is. So if you're gonna put perfume on it, then you go put perfume on it. That's profanity. Put perfume on it. Oh, it's manure. Let's put perfume on it. You see? Time to put some sugar in. So you can put some sugar in and eat it. Oh, because it tastes okay now. You still taste it, but you just taste the sugar more. They put perfume on shit, right? You still smelling the shit, but when you don't realize it, because the fumes override the smell of shit, but you're still taking it in. They don't want you to talk about America like that, because that's what it is. It's racist from A to Z. That's the whole idea. The whole point is that's what gave them they say it's systemic. See, it's not systematic racism. I'm not saying anything. Systemic racism. Systemic racism means that's the nature of it. Systemic racism means America is systemic racist because it's racist by nature. Because that's the means by how they took everything. Because Europeans said, okay, everybody was animals, there was no good, use their evolutionary idea, and that kind of BS, and I go to all of that, right? And by means that they went and said everything, because if they got animals, right? If you got animals sitting on a gold mine, you ain't gonna go ask the animal, hey man, hey, make some negotiate. You just go knock the animal down, not eat them, and go take the gold mine. So they took everything from everybody because they said we was animals. From the Africans, from us, from the Asians, all over the planet, but they didn't do it to themselves. That shows racism. They didn't do it to themselves. They didn't take each other's land. They did to us and everybody else. They took everything from us. They didn't leave us with anything. They lost everything. See, they by degrees. Every country they took. They took everything they could get. If they could get, and America, so-called here, America, they just took that from the people here. They talking about illegal, illegals, illegal immigrants. Who do you think is original illegal immigrants? Them. And they use biological warfare on these people. These people are evil from beginning to ending. Ask yourself one question, if you dare. Ask yourself one question, if you dare. If Beelzebub, Satan, Lucifer, the devil, you name it, the Dajjal, I don't care whatever name you call it, demons, whatever, Dracula, Frankenstein, if all of them together came over here instead of Columbus, what could Columbus have done that they didn't do, that they wouldn't have done? In other words, what could they do that Columbus and them didn't do? Then you know who you're dealing with. You know who you're dealing with. But you got those people trying to make excuses for them. Oh, some of them are good, some of them nice, some of them okay, right? Oh, there's some good ones. Okay, those of you that believe in Noah's Ark, it never happened in the past, but say you believe, some of you that believe it. See? If you were in the ark, what happened to you? Wasn't there babies and children and toddlers and all that kind of stuff that wasn't in the ark? They all got drowned. See, some Christians say, oh, God pulled them up. You don't see anything that say he snatched them up from anywhere. God wouldn't do that, so he must have. He drowned them all. Because it's all devils. Sodom and Gomorrah, what happened to that? Did he say, okay, y'all get the hell out of here, right? But see if you grab some of them, take them with you. He said, no, get the hell out of here, I'm burning them all up, burn them all up. See, and then to underscore it, right? He told him don't look back, and Lot's wife looked back, she turned the pillow sore, because she was upset because she loved some people back there. Some might have been relatives and stuff. So she turned bitter and died. They're all devils. What the Bible says, it says, none are righteous, not one, not one. And that same thing would happen with Abraham, right? He said, can you just find one righteous? He said, if you can just find one righteous, I'll save the country. He said, couldn't find not even one. That's what it's talking about. But if you got a friar talking about, they're talking about us too. That's not Elijah Muhammad's teacher. That's not Muhammad's teacher, because he's a demon, he follows the devil. He's a son of perdition. He's Aaron. He don't want to talk about, oh, the script's corrupt. He don't want to talk about that, because if you go to the scripture and follow Exodus, see, he wants to, because you discover him. He's Aaron. Who else could he be? That's what he's talking about. He don't want to talk about 1619, 2019. He just stored it. Oh, no, we came in 1555. Yeah, we did come 1555. But they keep twisting that every year. They got to go back and forth, back and forth. Because we were enslaved until 1619. It took 64 years to make us into niggers and slaves. So slaves, the Abrahamic covenant starts at the point of servitude. 1619, 2019, then the plague rolled at around time 2020. It said it'd be the first judgment. The first judgment. Because after that time, I will judge that nation. So America's under judgment now. This is clear, easy stuff, brothers and sisters. Now I'm going to a lot of, there's a lot of stuff I can talk to you on the mathematical side, but most of you are not ready for it. So I can do it by degrees, and some of you might keep up with it, a little here and a little there. See? So we talk about a little bit of it here. See, I've been talking about these 5 pillars of Islam. See, that's your nature. Because we are mathematics, Islam, but the 5 pillars, that is your nature. That is your mathematical nature. That is your nature. And it addresses all aspects of your nature. 5 aspects of your nature, and it addresses all 5 of them. But you didn't understand that. See? Because there's 5 aspects of your nature. This deals with them. Now, devils, they have 5 aspects of nature too. Because they mankind. See, so in other words, if you got a Lamborghini out there, you got a Volkswagen Beetle. They both cars. They both have the same function. They both have steering wheels, right? They still have windows, right? They still have four tires. It still has the same structure as the basic structure of the car, but the substance is different. So mankind has a structure of us. See, as the scripture says, right? See, they had a structure. They had a structure of godliness. Without the godliness, see, without the substance, see. So, when you understand that, you got the Lamborghini and you got the Volkswagen Beetle. See, so both of them, right? I mean, you have a manual. In general, the manual will be the same. Until you get into the particulars, right? It'd be more depth because Lamborghini, I mean, it's more expensive, right? Okay, you got better insurance, you got to put in the garage and all that kind of stuff. So the bottom line is that the 5 pillars apply to them, but they have a different, it's like you still got to put gas in a Lamborghini, but you can't put that regular gas in there. See? You got to put high test or whatever, right? But you can put regular, you know what I'm saying? So it's still the 5. But so in other words, you got the 5 pillars, but the point I'm trying to make here is that the 5 pillars that I'm telling you, 5 mathematical pillars of Islam, right? From what they call faith, consequence, to salat, right? Which is recital of Quran, to zakat, which is currents, to fasting, which is mass time celebration equals force, to hajj, which is harmony, right? That's the mathematical version of it. Well, they have equivalent. They have adversary because they can't do that, right? See, so they have equivalent. See? So instead of doing, because they have a heart, so they want their heart stabilized. So we make salat to do that. So what they do? Oh man, I'm nervous. I need to be calmed down. See, so we turn to a lot. Where they turn to alcohol and tobacco and cigarettes and stuff, because it still has the same function. It has to be addressed. It has to be addressed. It's like thinking, right? We think, but we think at mathematical level. See, well, they don't want to think at level. So they come with religion. See, where no facts need apply, just belief. Still thinking. See, but it's belief. Belief matrix. So they believe in stuff, and we have faith in mathematics, and they believe in, you see, but still have to address their thinking. It has to be, they have to have something to base their reality on. So they base reality on illusion. We base our reality on facts. They base their reality on illusion. Let me say it again. They base their reality on illusions. We base our reality on facts, right? They calm their heart with drugs and cigarettes. We calm ours with recital. See? And when it gets to currents, right, or zakat, see, we prefer to give. They prefer to take. And by taking, they throw their balance off. Because everybody, mathematics makes everyone equal. If you understand pressure, everyone is equal. So therefore, if you take more than you're supposed to take, that means you throw your balance off. That means you create negative energy, which they call bad luck. We do the opposite. We give, right? So we generate positive energy, good luck. So we maintain our balance. So we can walk through fire without being burnt. Well, they're creating fire. So they're creating currents. Remember, this is that level. Let's talk about currents. The slot is talking about torque. Torque, the more you spin, right, it's an uprighting force like a gyroscope. See? So when you more slots you make, more upright you become. So you can walk a tightrope, right, without falling off. Because we walked a tightrope here for 400 years. So you understand it? You don't, it's tight, very tight, like a budget. See? You don't have enough to cover your budget, right? So you gotta be very careful. Because hey, you gotta eat, but you gotta pay your rent, right? You gotta take care of it. See? So that's a tightrope. So because we had energy deprivation. So we had to really budget our energy. See? So therefore, by making slots, right, that means you can walk that tightrope without falling off. See? And where currents is, that's what weather is. So how much weather is there in your life? See? You got hurricanes in your life? You got volcanoes in your life? You got lightning and thunder in your life? You got tornadoes in your life? Earthquakes in your life? That's because you're throwing your balance off. You creating those things. Why do you think America is going through that? Because the law of consequence. They're in debt. They're taking more than they got. So now they create this weather. Like Muhammad was trying to get your hint. He said, we create the weather conditions. He said, we create the weather conditions. America's creating these weather conditions. That's how God is destroying them. He's letting them destroy themselves because the thing is, we could step by and let them destroy themselves. Only while we intervening, that's what it says. God had to intervene. He had to cut those days short, or no soul will be left alive. Because they're going, but the point is, they're so vindictive that they say, if we can't have the earth, you can't have it. So their whole plan is to blow the surface, to scorch the whole surface of the earth with their nuclear bomb, so we won't have anything once they're gone. So it would be millions, thousands of years clean up that radiation and everything else. It'd be so bad. And we might have to resort to the vision they had, mechanical man, just to survive. That's their plan. That's why no soul be left alive. That's why Fry has to intervene before they have a chance to pull that off. See, that's the idea. See, but they creating all the stuff that you have, all that volcanoes and hurricanes and all that stuff. You creating that, brothers and sisters, because you want 2 or 3 cars. You run after money. You take it from people that should be taking more than you're supposed to get. Out there playing a lotto and you hit for $1 million, all of a sudden now you thought you gotten over. Now you create $1 million with the bad luck for yourself. That's why I said spend out what we have given you. This book, there's no doubt that it's God those who believe, who believe in us, see, keep a prayer and spend. That's three of the pillars right there. Who believe in us, see. You can't see math, but it's visible everywhere. You can't see mathematics, but it's visible everywhere. Everything is mathematics. That's the first one. See, you can't see it, but you believe in it. See, the second one, keep up prayer, salat. See, a spell we have given you is zakat. You don't go out and just take more than what you have. You get rid of all that stuff that you have in your house you don't need because you're paying for all that. All that's mathematics, you own it. So if you're sitting around with $1 million shit farm, saying, "Man, I'm tired of smelling this shit," right? Well, that's your $1 million. So you don't want to do that. Get rid of that, and then mathematics will convert it, right? Because Islam converts shit into diamonds. So once you start walking through the 5 pillars of Islam, right, you find out that that shit farm that you've been living in started turning into a diamond mine. It's still worth $1 million. Allah will lift you up, but you cling to the earth. That means you can't get to the second floor because you hold on to the first floor. So you don't want to let go. You see people say, man, I ain't going to let go of this job. Man, I need this job, right? But they want another job. So you're going to have 2 jobs at once because you're afraid of the dark. You understand the concept of pressure. See? The concept of pressure means everybody can say, for instance, everybody gets $1,000 a day, no matter what. Everybody. See? So it's what you do with it. That's the difference. See? So if you go out and buy $1,000 worth of shit, don't get mad because that's what you got. So you don't buy that. Then you buy something else. Buy your diamonds. It's up to you. Everybody's the same. See? So in other words, if you're on this job, right, and you leave that job, you still get $1,000 a day. So you just find another job someplace, or you go business for yourself. You still get $1,000 for yourself. If you understand that principle, you wouldn't work for anybody. You wouldn't be working for anybody if you understand that principle. You wouldn't be working for anybody because you find out it still come back to you. Working is just a way of giving quality. Because if you're afraid, then okay, so you make sure it comes this particular way. You want it to come particularly in the form of money. Because if you go out and do your own, it's going to come to you, but it might come to your form of healing. It might not come the way you want it. But it's really, it's going to come the way you actually need it, but you don't understand that. Because that's what I say. Know the truth, and truth will make you free. Because once you understand this concept, you're not imprisoning anybody. You're not under anybody. You're not a slave to anybody once you understand this concept, because it's like taking oil and pushing on the water. No matter what, how much push that's will come someplace else. They can't drown it. They can't drown you. Your level of success is going to remain the same no matter what they do. The only issue you have is what form it's going to take. See, whether it's going to be 3 times 4, 5 plus 7, 1 plus 11, 24 divided by 2. It's up to you what form it takes, but you're still going to get 12 no matter what. Once you understand concept, you can go for self. You don't need to be a prisoner or slave to anybody because the job, the manager on the job, he ain't giving you no more than he's supposed to get anyway. If he gives you more, then it's going to create negativity for yourself because everything about you. If you get more than everybody's supposed to get $1,000 a day, he getting you $1,500, then that $500 create negativity for yourself. You understand it? $500 worth of negativity for yourself. See, bad luck. So now you got, right, all kinds of bad weather at home, in the streets, on the job, all kinds of bad weather coming up, storms coming up out of nowhere. I know some of you noticed that. See, you got this extra money, all of a sudden, bam, everything just blows up. All of a sudden, bam, a hurricane comes in. Damn, man, I ran into, man, $10,000, man. All of a sudden, bam, man, the hurricane blew up. My spouse cheating on me. See? That's why it was upside my head, right? Why would I got into a car accident, right? See? Or the house burned up. All of a sudden, the engine fails in the car. Have you noticed situations like that? Where you come in something, all of a sudden, how could the engine fail? I mean, all of a sudden, out of nowhere. So in other words, all the money you got, and you got to pay. Because it's all mathematics. You control that damn engine. You don't even understand it. See, you know that movie, Star Wars, The Force? It was like, you don't understand where this stuff coming from. See, everything has, that's mathematics telling you something. Those books, those things don't come out of nowhere. You don't understand how to read the world, the reality around you. See? Because all our hearts are connected. So that idea came from somebody's heart that you're connected with. And so the idea about the force and everything, you understand? Because the bottom line is, that's what I've been telling you. It's all about the force. The force is the most fundamental principle in the universe. Everything I tell you is about the force. It's all about the force. And you control it. That means that car engine is mathematical too. So why in the world, if something happens good for you, that car engine fails? out of nowhere. It didn't fall out of nowhere because it's connected to the force. Everything's connected. All our hearts are connected. And on that note about the hearts connect, let's move on to that. We by nature, it's like, we by, animals have hearts. Everybody have different types of hearts. We by nature have the most righteous heart in the universe because we're the gods. See? Yaqub's creation is the most wicked hearts, most wicked human hearts ever. But we're all connected. See? We're all connected. So when you understand that concept, right? Because all our hearts are connected. Our hearts, we hear everybody's vibration. When they go to the stethoscope, he put it right here, but he can hear heartbeat. See, but our ears are more powerful than that. We just screen it out. He hear everything. See, the lives on a subconscious level at this point. But our hearts, but everything that we hear, it affects our heart. Everything, and our heart translates it. And the brain tries to understand it. Because if you're startled, the first thing you do is your heart to get startled. And then your brain tries to figure out what's going on. So to understand that concept is that's the sacrifice. See, I've tried to explain to you, I try to get deeper and deeper into it. See? But why did God tell the angels to submit to Adam? And they did. Some, some didn't, but the righteous one did. And who's the only one really submitted was us. Because we over here. Because they was to make mischief shed blood. Who's to make more mischief shed blood in America? And we're right in the middle. See? So is our heart beating? We're all connected. We're right next to it. Because the closer you are to the person, the better the signal. See, if somebody lives right next to you, sitting right next to you, they got a strong signal. Because the closer you are, the signals. That's the way it works, electronics. The closer you are, the better the signal is. So we're right here in the middle of it. So our heart is vibrating frequency, right? And so are theirs. But theirs on a very low frequency, high frequency, and plus, right? And the vibrations are very negative. But ours is opposite. So in the process it's like mud. If you mix mud and water together, right? What happens? The water gets dirty. The water starts more like dirt, right? The water starts more like dirt, and the dirt acts more like water because you got mud now. And that's what you have in America. You have mud because their negativity, right, is taking in effect, corrupting our hearts, causing us to start acting more negative than we would normally. But on the other side of that is we cause them more human than they would normally be. So we civilizing the beasts. That's why we was brought over here. So the beasts being right in the middle, they would be less beast-like than they would normally have been, so they're going to affect all the other tribes. They still affect them, but not to the degree they would have if we had not been here. Because before we was here and Europeans in Europe, go back and check history. They was vicious to each other, They was always fighting each other. The kings was always tyrants, right? You had all the nobles. They was abusing the people. They had a rule called something. I forget the name of it. I can't say offhand. But where the noble, right? You could not serf, right? That was the low lives, right? The pawns. If they wanted to marry, they couldn't even marry their own wife because the noble had to have sex her the night before. He had to have first right. I don't know the Greek, Scottish word for it, but it meant that he had rights to the first night. He would sleep her the first. So a lot of times the child was really his. That's the stuff they would do to each other. And they torture each other. And all the stuff they was doing to each other. They was evil, totally evil with each other. Totally. The way they was torture each other. If somebody accused you of being a witch, woo. And the torture and stuff, and one of the things they would do is like, if somebody would accuse you of being a devil, right, or a demon or something. So to prove it, right, you had to put your hand in boiling water, hold it there, and then pull it out. Now, if your hand healed up, right? If your hand held up, right? Out of that, that means you had to be a demon. See? But if it didn't heal up, that means you died. Now, how does that make any sense? But that was their thinking. Didn't take baths. It was funky. The baths wasn't. I mean, they was evil and nasty and dirty with each other. They'd call us savages. We weren't like that. We was clean and taking a bath. When they ran to Islamic Empire, the Islamic Empire was taking baths and clean and everything. And these people was funky. They didn't believe in taking baths. They thought there was something wrong with taking baths, right? They was fornicating. Everybody was sleeping with everybody. That's why they had the institution of marriage. So they tried to figure out who was who. And they had a chastity belt. You know what a chastity belt is? That means the man was scared to leave his wife home from his even own son and everybody else, any male. So they put this thing on her where nobody could have sex with her. You understand? It's a chastity belt. So it's on tight on her and everything, so she couldn't take it off. And so there's no way you could penetrate her, you understand, as long as that thing was on there and she couldn't take it off. Because he had a lock, he had the key. And she had to wear that thing the whole time he was away. Just like sick they were. See? Living in high rise, not high rise, but 2 and 3 story buildings. They had running water and stuff. They throw their manure out the window. That's why they had awnings. So you could walk along the street without getting splashed. And all this kind of stuff. All diseases. They had all that stuff. You didn't hear about no disease in Arabia. Bubonic plague. You heard about the Black Plague. That stuff didn't go into Arabia. That was just in Europe. Because it's so filthy. We think all these disease stuff comes from syphilis and gonorrhea and all that stuff. From them having sex with animals and carrying on. You said they kiss dogs and stuff. They was evil to each other. I mean, it was terrible. And they call us uncivilized. They were terrible. They brought the disease to America and wiped almost all the people out here because they wasn't ready for that. And so when they brought us over here, civilized people, intelligent people, educated people, remember the story of Joseph? See, Farrakhan lied about that one. Joseph came first. But he was thrown into prison. That's 64 years we was here. But they used his knowledge, his everything to save their kingdom. Because they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to farm. They didn't know how to doing what they call crop rotation. They didn't know about that stuff. Because they had ruined Europe. That's why they went over here to take the land from the Indians, because their land wouldn't even produce food anymore. Because the topsoil was gone. But they didn't know what to do. They didn't know how to farm. They didn't know how to do anything. So the first ones over here, 64 years, they use our knowledge, you understand? They locked prison and use the knowledge, you understand, to try to, become civilized, to start knowing how to handle, to build a civilized country, you know what I'm saying? And taking baths. They weren't doing that before that. Start taking baths, start cleaning up, right? Start rotating their farms, rotating their crops, right? Try to stop fornicating. They call them Puritans. How do you think they wasn't like that when they come over from Europe? So that's what they did. So our hearts, being in the middle of this, was having a positive influence on their hearts, while having a negative influence. After 64 years, we was undone. See? Because they had reduced us to beasts. Our hearts, amounts theirs, reduced us to beasts. While our hearts elevated them to a form of civilization. So now they was talking about freedom and justice, stuff they wouldn't talk about over in Europe. They weren't talking about stuff like that over in Europe. Freedom, justice, democracy, you understand? Every man, we all created equal. Then they start talking that stuff. They weren't talking about that stuff before, because we elevated them to some form of civilization. That's why it says angels submit to Adam, because that would happen. You understand? We civilized them, but at the same time, they corrupted us. So that was a sacrifice we made, but we would pay for it. Because by doing that, right, we kept them from just destroying the whole world. Because if you let them loose with the power they had as savages, you see how much damage they did already. But if they would stay the beast that the Quran says that Allah would raise up from the earth, if they stayed in that format, they would have tore the world apart even worse than they did, much worse. So we civilized them, but they corrupted us. That's what it says in Daniel, we was reduced to a beast life. We was reduced to a beast life. Because our hearts are connected. So when you understand that, you got fools we're in trouble because we're not getting enough sun. See, so that's why we have trouble. We're not getting sun because we were brought over here was not that much sun. Well, Africa's still over there. They got all the suns. How come they still having problems? That's bullshit. They say anything. That's not the reason. We suffer energy deprivation. Has nothing to do with the sun. Has to do with, as the Quran says, it's momentous in the heaven and earth, but coming of a sudden. That means all the energy that we put out there, all the energy you see out there, the Quran says used to be the atmosphere of the earth. But that we spread out to make stars and galaxies and all that kind of stuff. So all the energy's out there, so that means we have less energy here. So we went through a 6,000 year energy deprivation. That means the time it takes the phase between the expansion phase of the universe and the contraction phase of the universe. Now the universe is in the contraction phase, which means energy is coming back. And it comes back approximately every 50 years. Approximately every 50 years, as I said, it's momentum from heaven and earth, but energy comes as a wave, it saturates the earth, right? And the earth absorbs it and then converts it to a form of energy we can use. Happens every 50 years. See, I'm going to talk about that in another context in a minute. See? So, we become energized. So, we went to that period, right? So, that's what Adam was given control. But if we had come here, he'd been a wild beast loose on the earth with no restraints. Ooh. Well, us being here, we tamed them. We tamed the beast, but at a cost, because we got all the scratches and the bites and the claw marks all over us. But we tamed the beast enough so he wouldn't be destroying everybody else. We paid the price. So as a result of that, we would get a reward. We get the work. They said the last would be the first, and first would be last. So we put back on top of civilization. We get the best part of the planet Earth, Arabia, right? And we rule from there. And also, it made us wiser and stronger from this experience. That's what's going on, brothers and sisters. See? So to answer that question, when you look at it clearly, it ain't right. It has nothing to do with the sun. The only solution is it's separation. Now you hear Farrakhan, well, separation only solution. Yeah, but he's been saying for years we ain't going nowhere. So what kind of separation you talking about? Going to another state? When America's be destroyed, he already said if America's attacked, they're going to defend America. But Elijah Muhammad told him when America's attacked, it's going to be God, inspired by God. So you're going to be fighting against God. I mean, come on. See? So our solution is separation. Because once we separate it, see, when you got mud, the only way you could save the water is you got to evaporate it and pull it away from the mud. Then the mud, right? So now the water's gone and the dirt returns back to the dirt that it was before. Because once we leave here, brothers and sisters, right, that's why I said we change the twinkle of an eye. Because we work back, because all that negativity and stuff is gone from us. Our heart will go right back to its righteous state. We change it in the twinkle of an eye. See, all that grief and stuff we've been suffering over here because these people, it's going to go away immediately. And they're going to revert back to the beast they are immediately because they don't have us here to lift their heart up anymore, to civilize their heart. And so that's going to be a disaster in America. You have this beast roaming wild in America, destroying everything, itself, and everyone around. See, a race war that you can't even comprehend. Nothing, they've never seen anything like that on this planet ever. At the same time, the beast is going to be attacked in all other nations. The beast is going to be totally unbound. The mask will come off and the true beast is going to show. You see? It's going to be exposed. So let me say a couple other things here. Music comes from the heart. It doesn't come from here. The lyrics may come from here, but the music, remember, because music is vibrations and frequencies and things like that, right? That's where it comes from. It comes from here. And so we got the most powerful, righteous hearts on the planet. And even under all of this here, right? All the music in the world, the major music in the world today, the major music in the world today has come from what? From us. All the major categories. Soul, jazz, right? Blues, jazz, soul. And when did they come into existence? See, our first positive energy wave was in the 1860s. That's that time that we broke our physical chain, because now we got energy, we energized. See, we've been suffering energy deprivation for over 50 years, 50,000 years. See? For 50,000 years, we've been suffering energy deprivation. 50,000 years. See? And for really, really bad for the last 6,000 years. I mean, it's beginning to show 50,000 years ago, but it really got bad the last 6,000 years. See? You understand? So, the positive, first positive we got, because it got worse and worse and worse. That's why Dr. Shabazz, you understand, did what he did. We was kicked out of Arabia. Our brothers kicked out of Arabia. Went to Africa, which Arabia is really North Africa, but what they call Africa now. And that's where we were. And we got worse and worse and worse, right? See? But now we're being revived, right? The first sign of it, remember, music in my heart, because music is the soul and spirit of a nation. That's how you know the spirit. And the only spirit that's dominating the planet right now is our music. And it started in 1860. There ain't no coincidence. Go and Google it, right? Check. When did blues start? 1860s. Wasn't no blues before that. And it came from us. When did jazz come in? 50 years later, 1920s. Round time. Was no jazz before, and that came from what? Us. Everybody got knockoffs, but it came from us. And then what about soul? 50 years later, 1960s. Is that a coincidence? Those are three major categories. You got all stuff in between, you know, disco and rap and stuff, but those are three main categories. Because there was some kind of mixture of all the other ones. But those three, is that a coincidence? So now we 50 years later, 2020s, that means a new version is going to come out because the music reflected our situation. Because it's the spirit, right, and soul of a nation. So that means a new music is about to come out. It's on the way. That's going to reflect a new reality is coming in. A unity music, a victorious music. Because now it's our unity. Our unity is our victory. So the music is going to encourage that. See, when it hits your heart, that's what you're going to want to do. You're going to want to unite. Just like, what did the music do back in the 60s? It made black folks start feeling each other, man. You know, like each other more than they did. You understand? So music, you know, got, you know, rocking together. And it's got the whole planet shaking, whole planet rocking. Our music dominated the whole planet. Didn't I tell you something? When they go tell you about op and all that kind of stuff, right? Some say even that came from us. Who knows? I ain't gonna talk about getting to that. But I'm just saying, those form of music every 50 years, bam, bam, exactly clockwork. Don't take my word, just check it out. See? These are things you should understand, brothers and sisters. See? But the lyrics have been affected by them, because remember, we still, all our hearts are connected. All the hearts are connected. See? So, our hearts influence theirs, theirs hearts influence ours. And so, we're in this condition because so many of them, see, and that's why, right, abortion, all these different things to keep our numbers down. Because our numbers grew. If all those 22 million, 22 to 24 million that they've been aborted over the years, if they was alive and they would have had children too, America would be a different place. Because the vibration of our heart would be greater, 3 times greater than what it is right now. See? But see, why do you think we're doing things backwards? We're doing things that don't make any sense. Supporting a Democratic Party, who every one of their policies is anti-us. Abortion, sending jobs overseas, right? Industrial jobs to China, your intellectual jobs in India, your agricultural jobs across the border, right? And they're building prisons for you left and right. 3 strikes laws and all this stuff they got for you. because you don't have no jobs. They don't have to go look for you. They know you ain't got no job because they made sure of that. They know you got to make a living, right? So all they got to do is watch you because they know you got to be doing something what they call illegal. See? And everything's against like they legalized marijuana. That was great. Oh man, they just put in jail for that. Well, they legalized because they found that was giving you strokes. When they realized that was giving black folks strokes, yeah, legalize it. Give them all they want. Okay, bro, so I hope you understand. See, that's what the only solution is to separate. And we're going to separate. God's going to separate us. See, someone's going to be left behind. Like I said, some will read but Daniel. Those that was in the Lamb's book, they was delivered. The rest, they woke up too late, right? They were sleeping. They had to go through tribulation. That means they're going to be running around here with this beast unbound because we ain't going to be here to keep their hearts in check. And now we're going to be gone. And that burden of their evilness is not going to be in our hearts anymore. So we're going to change overnight. We're going to love each other. We're going to really love each other. We're going to be happy with each other. You know, we're going to recognize each other again because we're going to be our true nature overnight because we're not being, because we're right in the middle of them. So close proximity means, right, they have the greatest effect on our hearts. But we're still going to have a heart situation, but not to the degree that we have because we're right in the middle of it. Because you still got evil hearts in the world. So we have to clean it all up. That's why I say you have to get everything that's not in the, under our lives, it's going to be eliminated. We're going to eliminate all that. So now all it's going to be just a righteous frequency, righteous vibrations. See, no more evil thoughts, no more evil ideas. All that stuff's going to be gone. See, we'll be in paradise. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. That's why separation only ends. How come Pharaoh can't tell him? Because he's a demon. He has no choice. We're not taking him. We're not taking any of his demons. Read the book. We don't want any demons. Remember the thing about Nicodemus? Nicodemus, you get it? Demon. He told me how righteous he was. We don't want him. Because he got a wicked heart. He might act righteous, but he still got evil heart vibrating in his chest. See, that's what we're looking at. That's why I said, what is it? God looks at the men's hearts. Why do you say that? Because that's what it matters. Because if you go over there and you live in a good life, you live in the right, but you still got an evil, vibrating heart, which is affecting everybody. And when we get to the hereafter, right, when we get over there, our ability to tune in will be restored. So now it's conscious. It's not just feeling it and react to it. So now you hear all these negative thoughts about, aberrant behavior. You understand? Profane behavior. You see? Evil behavior. You see? So now you don't want to, just like if you're a righteous person, you don't want anybody hearing some of this music. So what if you hear, I don't want to hear that, man. You got saying all this stuff. Like this woman got this thing out talking. I don't even want to repeat that, but you get it. I mean, you say, she like her meat or something? See? So what if you start picking people's thoughts and that's what they're thinking? Pornographic thoughts. See? Evil thoughts. So you get, because that's what they're gonna be thinking, because that's their heart. They can't help it. You can't turn, right, a dog into a sheep. They're still gonna be thinking that's their evil heart. Even though they might try to, right? But they can't change their heart. They're still beasts. So we can't have them there. It don't matter how they act, no matter how much they pray, they're still heart. And you picking up the vibration of their heart. That's why I call them devils. You picking up the vibration heart. They can't change that. No matter praying, no matter whatever, it can't change it for them. I mean, it might help. That's why I told him Muslim sons had to study for 30 years. It might help some. But for them to even do it, it goes against the nature. It could be something they don't want to do. See, if they did it, it'd be something they'd be doing again. So that you're gonna pick up that they're doing something they don't want to do. So it had to be eliminated. Like the 11 said, it had to be eliminated altogether. See, that's what it took me a while to get you down to understand on that level. When you understand that level, it makes it much clearer, doesn't it? They have to go. I don't care what the Sunnis say or what, they can't be in total submission. And for them to be in total submission to Allah means they'd be perfect devils, because that's what it meant to be. A pig is in submission to Allah, right? Because he's doing what a pig does. If you try to give him to something else, clean him up, then he's not in submission to Allah anymore, because he's not being a pig. He was created to be a pig. It's created devils to make mission shed blood. So if they do it other than making mission shed blood, right, that means what? That means they're not in submission to the way their creation, doesn't it? You understand? And one more last thing we'll say about that. See, the Quran says they will be given guidance. From who? From God. They'll be given guidance. What was the guidance they was given? I mean, if you can make somebody to make mission shed blood, you got to give them the guidance to do that. If you make a tractor, truck, you got to make a manual to show how to operate it. You ain't going to give them a manual for a Lamborghini. So they would give guidance to what? To do, make a mission, shed blood. That's the sealed Bible. All that stuff is in there. Slavery, murder, oppression of women, everything. It's all in there because that was the guidance that was given to them, right? To do what they did, enslave people and everything else. So when they followed the Bible, they followed their script. They followed the guidance that was given to them. But they only had 6 days to do it, 6,000 years to do it. See? But the sealed, unsealed Bible, that's locked inside it, because it tells you the Bible is sealed. So they got the sealed version. But it says Suleiman will come and give you the unsealed version, which can blow away all of that. And like a simple analogy, like I was trying to tell you, you have a thermonuclear bomb. It's 2 bombs, 1 bomb inside the other, but it takes the outer bomb, the fission bomb, to ignite the fusion bomb, which is much more powerful. So they had the fission bomb, or the sealed Bible, and they ignited it 500 years ago, and they put so much pressure that it enough force to produce us, the best ever, and Suleiman, who would ignite the unsealed Bible. That's blown away. The angel is blown away all this, because it says the gospel will be preached in all the world, then it will come. Gospel is just another name. Gospel, angel is just another name for the Arabic name for gospel. It didn't say the Quran will be preached. The gospel as a witness, and it's blowing away all of this. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand. See? We have to separate, because here we're not acting on ourselves, because all our hearts are connected, and they guys acting like them. It says, if you of this world, they will love you. Why? Because they converge you to them. You're following their 5 rules. You're following their idea, their 5 pillars, right? Religion, right? See, you're following alcohol and smoking and carrying drugs, right? You're chasing money. See, you're eating three and 4, 5 meals a day. See, when we're doing fasting. See, and then you democracy, confusion. Everybody do their own thing instead of harmony. So yeah, they love you because that's what they're doing. That's their answer to the 5 pillars. So it said, if you're of this world, they will love you. But if you're not of this world, they will hate you. So in other words, if you're doing the 5 pillars, they won't want you around. They don't want you around talking. When they talk about Jesus going to say all this kind of stuff they can't prove, and you talking about math, man, they don't want to hear that, because that's contradicting everything they're saying. See, they don't want you around. Makes a lot. Let's have a drink, man. Let's go smoke a cigarette. Let's get high. And you say, man, I'm gonna go. No, man, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure, I'm gonna get myself together. But they don't want to hear that. And you talking about, man, let's go out and help people in charity. Man, no, I'm gonna make me some money, man. Hell with that. I don't want to hear that. You understand? So you saying, man, let's go eat some dinner. Let's go get breakfast, man. Man, no, I'm fasting, man. Oh, man, what you mean, man? But you don't eat breakfast? You got problems? Say, no, man, I'm fasting. Oh, man, what's that all about? You hear that? You say, Harmon, let's get going, brother. Let's work together. What you mean, man? Democracy, we're gonna take and vote. Yeah, but how you know it's right? We don't care. We're gonna compromise. We don't compromise truth. Compromise truth is a lie. Once you think about it, and you compromise something, compromise by definition means you corrupted it. It's not pure anymore. So they tell you the whole democracy is all about compromise. So it's, you know it's right, but you want to compromise it. So that means it's not truth anymore. Compromised truth means it's not truth anymore. It means impure. It's flawed. But they're telling you that. And plus all these things put me in experiment. So in other words, they destroying nation, everything based on experiment. How do they know experiment is right or wrong? They don't know. They tell you it's experiment, bro. I mean, they don't know it's right or wrong. But it said there's a way that seems right to a man that leads to destruction. That means their 5 pillars, right, seems right to them, but it leads to destruction. Because their 5 pillars, their corresponding 5, because remember, they need the pillars just like we need, but they have the same structure we have. So they have to address their anxieties and their mental situation and their currents in their life. They have to address that too. But the way they choose to address it, it seems right to them, right? Religion, right? Drugs. You see? Capitalism taking all of everybody's money, taking how much you can get. So eating 3 meals a day, eating 10, 20 meals constantly, right? Democracy, that seems right to them. But it says leads to destruction. And because they leave out the fundamental, remember, the fundamental attribute, pillar of our nature is consequence. Every action has absolute reaction. But they eliminated that in theirs because religion does not eliminates consequence. Because they can do whatever they want to do. All they got to do is believe in Jesus. No consequence. They can avoid consequence. Give some, idol food. Go some idols, give them some food and stuff, make a sacrifice. No consequence. See? But ours is based on consequence. Theirs ain't. Understand, brother and sister? 2 different realities. But just because they don't believe in consequence, that doesn't mean it's not consequence. You might not believe in gravity, but I bet you're going to jump your ass off a 3-story building. You have to believe it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. We're going to leave it there. See? Hope you understand. Because we're going some dark days ahead. If you ain't ready, like I said, if you ain't with me, you're against me. It tells you clearly what you look for. Someone to break the 7 seals. If you understand that it's about Antichrist, right? Because when Antichrist come in, false Israel, they be conceived at the same time. Because the star would rise in the east. That means he would be in the west. Then a star would herald a star of David. It rose in the east. 1948. That means Suleiman would conceive 1948, same time. Let's get to the math of Antichrist. Not only that, but you got other things, right? See, the new ark, Newark. I mean, that's a little more subtle. It's a lot of things. He break the seal. He would suddenly come to Elijah Muhammad's temple. See, he had been following Elijah Muhammad. See, I'm going on and on. See, he'd been mentioning the covenant. That's why we teach about the covenant. So it's all there, brothers and sisters. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters, because the last thing we want is you to be left here when this beast is unmasked, unbound. It's the last thing we want for you. Because once we leave, the mask will come off. And the restraining force, because we was a restraining force. We was a restraining force. Our positive energy, positive vibrations, frequency of our heart was restraining them. It was making them act more civilized. Because the hearts are connected. See? But now, once we move, that's gone. The restraints are gone. See? You had that dog under the muzzle. See? Now you just pull that pit bull under the muzzle. You pull the muzzle off. What you think he gonna do? See, who's a Muslim? We're gonna be gone. If you still here, brothers and sisters, that's why I call it the Great Tribulation. You have to deal with that rabid dog. And those said, those who remain to the end, those ones will be saved. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters.